to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. Jack, we Ric Flairing on them niggas. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing. Not at all scary. One eye open like Betty Wops that find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness is really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally. Leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the other guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Woo! Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh, just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas.
DQ, baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids. D-Phase. Yeah. Bubba C. Yeah. Ric Flairing on them. Ric Flairing on them. Ric Flairing on them. Ric Flairing, son up, baby.
Yo, DJ.
Are you done mixing yet?
You're deep.
Be cute, little old school, little Sam. Chick. Look. Black Sun. Too easy. Gotta keep it pimpin'. Look. Chick. Drop a deuce in my armor palmer. Now I'm moving slow like your mama's mama. Vega full of that marijuana. I'm in full effect, it's no cause for drama. Presidential, my weed, man. You think my kush, man, was Barack Obama. Swing around, niggas flag me down. I need a couple grands when they see my Honda. Been there and then done that. Kick a flow, you can't run back. Crown royal, my cognac. Fucked up and I'm on it. Disapprove of my tennis shoes. Now I pick and choose like it's win or lose. Want them J's? I'ma go online. I don't wait in line. I ain't the type of dude. Dress fresh like Steve Harvey, rolling Bob Marley, watching Family Feud. Reading a book on Marcus Garvey might tell you something that you never knew. Fuck the judge in McLennan County, 31 weeks, I had the county blues. Shout out to my Uncle Bubba, had the Boss Caprice and it was candy blue. The other week I saw a blue Ferrari, was a white boy, drove right by me. Told myself when my album drop, I swear the whole world gon' know about me. 25 from the east side and got my mindset on the red Audi. Dropping paper like Waco trips, where my Waco niggas gon' read about it. Been there and then done that. Kick a flow, you can't run back. Crown royal, my cognac. Fucked up and I'm on it. Oh yeah. Disapprove of my pimpin' moves. Now I pick and choose like it's win or lose. Bad bitches, she on me. Fucked up and I'm on it. Say I been there, I done that. Kick a flow, you can't run back. Crown royal, my cognac. Fucked up and I'm on it. Oh yeah. Disapprove of my pimpin' moves. Now I pick and choose like it's win or lose. Bad bitches, she on me. Fucked up and I'm on it. I done been there and I done this shit. I done been there and I done this shit. I done been there and I done this shit. I done been there and I done this. On 35 and this 420, fresh out of jail, about to roll a L. First blunt of the fucking day and it's 10 o'clock and I'm mad as hell. Got work at midnight, so I ignite and I take sail. Can't survive off what I scribe in my government job, it pays well. On the highway in an old mood, jamming old school. I'm just an old dude in a young body. Finna knock down this little young hottie, cooking soul food. I'm so smooth. Silk draws couldn't fuck with me. She blowing my pop, but I'm sucker free. You paying for the drop, but I fuck for free. Lucky me. Been there and then done that. Kick a flow, you can't run back. Crown royal, my cognac. Fucked up and I'm on it. Oh yeah. Disapprove of my pimpin' moves. Now I pick and choose like it's win or lose. Bad bitches, she on me. Fucked up and I'm on it. Say I been there and then done that. Kick a flow, you can't run back. Crown royal, my cognac. Fucked up and I'm on it. Oh yeah. Disapprove of my pimpin' moves. Now I pick and choose like it's win or lose. Bad bitches, she on me. Fucked up and I'm on it. I done been there and I done this shit. I done been there and I done this shit. I done been there and I done this shit. I done been there and I done this shit.
You gonna dig this.
Hey, yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the SWAC, pull up where you at, no cap. If the Brody, you speaking the soft facts. My advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeants with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he offered the least. Black grad paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walking cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
Ooh, man, I'm telling you, every time I hear that junk, I just be like, that's what it is. That's what it is. Love that junk. Hey, appreciate you guys for tuning in to the special edition of Off Script Live. You know who you're watching. You're watching your boy Scotty, and you're watching Off Script. Now, shout out to my man Sean for hooking your boy up with this special edition a Friday Night Lights banner he hooked me up with. So we are doing live call-in. So this is the live call-in number 701-801-6395, not 6. See, I got to take it off because he messed it up. See, see, he was doing me a favor. He messed it up. 701-801-6395, 701-801-6395 is the call-in number, as you can see. Now, listen. You already listen. If you've been in the SWAC any time longer than me, you know the next guest I am bringing on today. Southern alum. He's been on. You see them on HBCU Game Day. You see them on Inside the Sports. I mean, anywhere they're talking about HBCU football in the circle, you're going to hear this man's name. Please give it up for my guest today, Mr. BJ Jones. What is good, Mr. BJ? Talk to me.
Man, what's going on, man? What's going on?
Nothing, chilling. Appreciate you for having me. I appreciate you for having, taking the time out to be with me and kicking it with me. How's your week been going? It's Friday, what's good?
Hey, man. Hey, it's week, man. It's hectic, man. In between work and, coaching and camps, man, we do it all, man. So we getting it all. So
that you know what? Matter of fact, you are a new head defensive coordinator, head coach.
Defensive coordinator.
Congratulations. I want to give you, let me give you a little round of applause for that. Congratulations, for having that and doing your thing and giving back to the young men and women. Now, I don't know if you've seen any of my interviews, but I like to start my interviews with a little start bench cut. But today I was like, no, I got a legend in the building. I said, you know what? Pump that. We ain't doing that. I said, we're going to do a builded edition, and I want you to build your all-time HBCU team, right? Now, people listening at home, y'all can critique it, put it in the comments who you have. Now, this is stipulation, right? You get one quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end. We know the big boy. Listen, ain't nobody got time to pick 5 big boys, all right? So we're not doing that, all right? So 4 DBs. That includes safeties and corners. 3 linebackers and 2 DNs and 1 head coach. I don't care about OC and DC. I need somebody to make stir the pot up. So it's on you, Mr. BJ. Who you got?
So at quarterback, man, I got to go with the best college football player that I've ever seen in person, and that's Steve McNair.
Aaron McNair. Okay, that's one.
All right. So at running back, man, I got to go with Sweetness, Walter Payton of Jackson State University. And then I'm going to go with another Jackson State University back, and that's going to be Destry Wright. He was the man. At wide receiver, man, it's going to be the GOAT, man, Jerry Rice.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, man, that's an easy one. But then at the other receiver, this one was tough because I wanted to go with John Taylor out of Delaware State. But I'm going to have to go with the bullet, man. Bob Hayes out of Florida A&M.
Let's get it.
So at tight end, man, I got to go with Unc, man. Shay Sharp.
Oh, yeah.
Savannah State.
Let's get it.
Yeah, out of Savannah State. Man, with my linebackers, man, I'm going to go new school, old school mix. So I'm going to go Robert Brazil out of Jackson State University.
Okay.
I'm going to go Darius Leonard out of South Carolina State University.
Oh.
And then I'm going to go Willie Lanier out of Morgan State University.
Okay.
Yeah. With the defensive backs, man, it's going to have a real SWAC feel to it. I'm going to go to Mel Blunt out of Southern University. I'm going to go with Aeneas Williams, also from Southern University.
No.
And then I'm going to go with Willie Brown out of Grambling State University. And I'm going to go with my man, Liam Barney out of the Jackson State University.
Okay.
And then my head coach, man, I'm going to have Eddie Robb, man. He's going to lead this group, and it's going to be hard to beat him, man. It's going to be hard to beat him.
Man, listen, I'll take that team against any. You know what we should do, and I'm going to bring you back for it. I think we should have like an all-time. I think the only team that's really messing with that. Oh, I like this one. Tank says kick returner and punt returner. Who you got?
Oh, man, kick returner, punt returner, man. You got to go with Bob Hayes from Florida A&M. Look at what he did in college as well as at the pro level, returning kicks and punts. So you got to go with Bob Hayes, the bullet.
I think one thing I would like to do is an all-time Miami team versus an all-time HBCU team. I mean, even though we're going, farther back. I don't know. Man, listen, the Miami teams it's a lot of Hall of Famers coming out of Miami. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the Alabama team or something like that. But that's just a little taste. See, this is what happens when you bring in legends in. All right, he's dropping gems out here. People you never even heard of. I know. They said DN. They said they didn't get your DNs.
I'm gonna go Robert Mathis. That's a little new school feel. And I'm gonna go old school feel. Let me go with Deacon Jones.
Deacon Jones. Okay, a little new, a little old. Got him. All right, let's get into it. All right, so before I wanted to get into all the hot topics, I want people to know a little bit about you. All right, so what's the last movie you've watched?
Man, I watched Luca with my daughter, the Disney movie,
How
man.
was that?
It was actually pretty cool, man. It's actually pretty cool. So yeah, we kicked it. We watched Luca. Outside of that, I don't really watch too many movies. I'm more of a sitcom guy. My last movie was probably the Fred Hampton movie. I watched that. That was probably the last movie before Luca.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this: if you watch that Kevin Hart Fatherhood, just know you're gonna have some allergies. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Oh man, listen, that's his best movie by far. Period. Point blank. It's on Netflix. All right, your favorite song and artist right now?
My favorite artist right now is be in between Big Crit and another rapper named Nick Grant. Nick Grant may not be mainstream, but look him up, man. The dude is a lyricist. And my favorite song right now, man, that joint by the Migos. Oh man, I've been vibing to that one. Yeah. Man, I've been vibing hard to that one.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Every time I hear that song, I just hear how they mispronounce the word straighten because it's a scraten. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
no C in straight. But anyway, that's just
Favorite spot in Baton Rouge. Let me see. My favorite spot in Baton Rouge is probably gonna be in between. Now, if I just want to just be Baton Rouge is gonna be the Blue Store, and they got Dragos in Baton Rouge now, so it's gonna be Blue Store or Dragos.
Okay. Now, if money was not an option, what would you buy?
Money wasn't an option. What would I buy? I'll probably buy a yacht.
You talking about the 50, 60?
Yeah, I'm talking about one of them big joints. Yeah,
gotta get the whole family on the front of the joint just out there sunbathing.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna buy and I'm gonna rent that mug out. I'm gonna make that money.
He'll make it right back.
Yes.
I got Varick Williams says SU Jag in the building. Lauren says Benny the Butcher, and then Charles Wells says Blue Stove.
That's right, man. Blue Stove.
Let's get it.
Give me 5 pieces in the log, man.
I'm gonna go down there for the Southern and JSU game. I'm gonna check it out.
Oh, trust me, you're gonna enjoy it now.
Who got you into football?
So originally, it was a collection of people. So from a football standpoint, man, my dad, of course, in my family, man, football is just what you did. So I have uncles and cousins that played college ball and all this stuff from me coming up. And I was just always around football, especially black college football, with my dad and my uncles and all of them. So I grew up growing to HBCU football games. Like I tell people, I didn't go to my first PWI game until I was a junior in high school and get recruited.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, black college football was all I knew. There was nothing else. And it's just because I come from a family full of HBCU grads. That's all we were about. So I was always at homecoming at Alabama A&M or Miles or Turkey Day Classic, Magic City Classic, you name it, we were there. So it was just, like I said, my dad, uncles, and everyone else, that's what they did. And kind of my family, that's kind of what the guys do, man. You play ball.
That's what's up. Now let's get into these hot topics because that's what everybody's coming here for. Now, the first thing, and we know I had to start it off with this, is what is your opinion on the transfer portal? And to also go a little further, is it good for SWAC football?
So as far as the transfer portal, I like it because it gives the kids an opportunity to really control their careers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna knock a kid for transferring. Number one, because I was a transfer. I didn't start off at Southern University. I started off at UAB. I transferred to Southern University. Okay. So for me to get there, I had to, transfer, and it ended up being the best thing for me. So I don't knock it. One of the things I will say, I think that the NCAA, I think that they kind of extended that thing a little bit too much, because if you look at the portal right now, over 50% of the kids that go in the portal are still in there. You have kids who have been in the portal now at this point over a year. So that's bad. And my advice to kids is, know what you're doing when you get in there. You need to know. Yeah. Don't leave it up to chance, because there's a lot of kids that's in there. And as far as the SWAC, and this is one of the things I've been talking about, sometimes perception and reality don't match up with each other. Mm-hmm. Someone said that these big schools are basically scouting the SWAC schools and the HBCUs, and they're just taking out stars. Well, that's false. All right. There have been 114 FCS to FBS transfers since the transfer portal, like right now, going on. Of that 114, only 12 of those are HBCU players. And of that 12, I think only like eight are SWAC players, and 9 of the 12 graduate transfers. So it's not hitting the SWAC as much as people would like to think. But I think that the transfer portal now forces you as a coach, those exit interviews at the end of the year, you really got to get that feedback, and it forces you to re-recruit your team every year.
Now, I feel like the biggest team that's been hit by transfers is honestly UAPB. Now, we could all say JSU because they're in the limelight of, everything being SWAC related. If it didn't have Deion Sanders attached to it, it's not headline news. But UAPB, I feel as though, has really lost some of the biggest stars on their team, with Sean Steele leaving, and then, the receiver leaving. So it's just, how does a team like UAPB use the transfer and then actually, use it for themselves, and it hurt them in the long run?
Yeah, so because they got a nice back out of Central Arkansas, a kid that was the Southland Freshman of the Year a few years back, that's coming in with some nice stats. But the problem is they've lost a lot. Harry Ballard going to Nevada, that was huge. The players that they've lost, the coaches they've lost. I'm starting to question, man, what's going on at UAPB? They have been hit hard, and Prairie View has been hit very hard. Yeah, people will say Jackson State, but a lot of Jackson State, their attrition through the transfer portal was, you might need to, So, and I don't think that's been the case for Prairie View or Arkansas Pine Bluff. So those two teams have been hit the hardest, because I can make an argument for Prairie View. They've lost 2 of their 3 biggest stars on the defensive side of football. That's that. With Story Jackson and Reggie Stubblefield. Those are the 2 of the 3 heavy hitters, along with Dumas on the defensive line.
That's big facts. Now let's talk about a little bit about the conference realignment, right? Now, let me ask you this before I get into any major question. How often does this occur? Because, in my lifetime, I've seen the Pac-10 go to the Pac-12, and, it's not too much of just realignment. So how often does this really occur?
Man, about every 10 to 15 years. And the SWAC, we hadn't had really any realignment since 1997. We welcomed in Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Alabama A&M. So we're talking about 20 plus years there. It happens, man, as time goes on and finances change and revenues go up, down, and there's different ways of making revenue. You're going to see it more often. And one of the things as a conference that you have to be constantly evolving. The way that you did business 10, 15 years ago may not be the way that you can continue to do business if you want that business to be successful and profitable. Yeah. So what you're seeing, especially, to our brethren in the MEAC, is that you saw a conference that was stagnant that really had more questions than answers. And, you know, teams decided, hey, man, let's just, you know, go somewhere else. And that's how you got what we got now.
You are tuned into Off Script Live. I'm here with Mr. BJ Jones. If you want to get your calls in, the call-in number 701-801-6395, 701-801-6395. Now, I really, these Southland rumors have really been killing me because people have been in my messages like I'm a SWAC connoisseur or something like, oh, do you think Grambling, or do you think in my personal opinion, and you know, my SWAC hours are low. Why, with all the publicity that a SWAC is bringing right now, why in the blue hell would somebody leave the SWAC?
They wouldn't. Unless it's an FBS opportunity, they wouldn't. The thing about the Southland, the Southland has even come off of that. They're not even like, I don't even think the Southland was serious when they threw it out there. I think it was just something to throw out there. There were people in the Southland, if you're in the FCS chat, going, nah, that ain't gonna happen. It'll be nice, but it's not gonna happen. One of the biggest reasons that the Southland is falling apart is because of revenue share. I mean, they're not making money. If you put up a list of the FCS conferences and you start talking about revenue, the Southland is at the bottom. The SWAC is the highest grossing generating FCS conference. You don't leave the highest grossing generation, money generating conference to go to one of the lowest. It doesn't work like that.
That's what's up. Now, I have a question from the comments. It says, ask him, do you see SWAC going FBS?
No, not right now, and this is reason why. I know it's a thing that, you know, people like to talk about, but if you look at the SWAC as a whole, there are some schools in the SWAC, and I'm not going to name them, that are, I'll be honest with you, they're Division I in name only. They're working with Division II budgets. They're working with, they have some deficiencies. So the conference as a whole, no. And what you hope to do is that the conference can get more revenue. So whenever revenue is put out to the schools, you know, that gives them a nice little pocketbook to do the necessary upgrades that they need to do. You hope that attention that the conference gets will, you know, help ticket sales and donations and everything. Yeah. The kind of, you know, the rising tide, you know, it lifts all boats. And that's where we have to get at. But the SWAC as a whole, it'll be a while before we get to that point.
Okay. Now, you know, let's talk about the MEAC a little bit. So what do you see the MEAC doing to repair itself from the departures of FAMU and Bethune? Because I've heard, you know, Norfolk State, you know, them being in there, or what else? A couple teams like Savannah State coming up, or Fort Valley coming up to the MEAC. What benefit does that bring the MEAC, or do they do anything at all? Just keep it as it is.
So I think with the MEAC, you have to be very selective and you have to be very smart with your next move. The worst thing that they can do is just jump out and grab somebody just to say you have them. You've done that before. You've done that with Winston-Salem State. They tried it didn't work, and they left. You did it with Savannah State. You tried it didn't work, and they left. So you need to make sure that it's someone that is going to have the support from the university, from the president, from the alumni, to be able to make that move. People think that this move to Division II to Division I is something easy to do. No, it is a $1.2 million buy-in before we do anything else. Before we build any other facilities, before we upgrade scholarships, before we do any of that stuff, it's $1.2 million. All right, so you have to have a school financially that's able to do that, that's able to support additional scholarships and additional sports, and also that either have the facilities or have the money to put the facilities in place. So I think if you're the MEAC, the biggest thing that happened to the MEAC is that announcement that the Celebration Bowl was extended by 6 years. So now those schools that had questions about that, that's solved, that's gone. Okay. And schools that were looking at the league, now they know that, hey, now they're stable, we can move over. I will keep my eyes on Virginia State. Outside of Virginia State, I don't know where that thing may go. I've heard about a PWI that has made some looks at the MEAC. I can put their name out there as Presbyterian. I don't know how true that is or how that would actually work. But, you know, we'll see what happens.
Now, can we ask that Can there be bowl games added outside of the Celebration Bowl to bring in more eyes and more funding into? Because don't get me wrong, Alcorn and Southern were battling out for years on years in the SWAC championship for the past couple years. Who wouldn't have wanted to see Southern play somebody else? You get what I'm saying? Like, even though they couldn't make the Celebration Bowl, could they been put in something else? Because in the Power 5, you could be 6-5, 5-6, and still get a celebration. You can get some kind of bowl game. So can they add more things to, the gauntlet of bowls that we have already?
I think you have to ask yourself these two things when we start talking about bowls.
Mm-hmm.
How much interest would it garner?
Mm-hmm.
And how much money you can make off of it. I think the Celebration Bowl works because it's champion versus champion,
mm-hmm.
and we're going to crown a HBCU football national champion out of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think when you bring up another bowl, what are we crowning? Who are we crowning? Because you have to extend past your core fan base, right? The SWAC and the MEAC are always going to get a certain niche of fans. When we start talking about a bowl game,
mm-hmm.
now you have to go outside of that, and you have to do something that's going to intrigue the masses, not just the fans that you already have. So what's going to get that guy in Davenport, Iowa to tune in? He'll tune in for the Celebration Bowl because you say, hey, there's a championship on the line.
Yeah.
All right. But if you take that away, would he tune in then? I think I don't know if another bowl would be feasible or not. There are other people that are far more smarter and a lot more versed in that over me. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sold on it either.
I just think with the uptick in competition coming to the SWAC, adding FAM, adding Bethune, to add an extra, just maybe something slight, maybe to the best two, I don't know, just because people love football. And so I think at the end of the day, people go tune in to see football, like true avid fans. Unless you're a SWAC fan, you're tuning in for the bands. I've been told, but that's what I've been told. That's what I've been told. But I just think if Coastal Carolina playing against some rinky-dink school in a rinky-dink bowl game can garner some kind of attention, I feel like an Alabama A&M with an NFL prospect like Glass, or PV versus a FAMU team, I think that can garner some interest. That's just my that's just.
But I think also you're seeing right now in the conference people saying, okay, with this competition that we have, if we don't make the SWAC championship, there's still an outside possibility for an at-large to the FCS playoffs. So I don't think people will want to give that up over a bowl game, saying, hey, we didn't make the Celebration Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
There's still an opportunity to make the FCS playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think that's a realistic possibility when you have a team like FAMU and Bethune-Cookman coming in, because now you have 12 teams, and potentially the SWAC could have, 2-3, teams that are ranked at one time.
Yeah, I like that. I have a comment from, it says SWAC versus Ivy as a bowl game.
The biggest thing with the Ivy League, and this is, I literally just got through talking about this. So the Ivy League used to be number 2 behind the SWAC in attendance every year. The Ivy League has dropped further and further down in attendance because their fan base has gotten older and they're dying off, and they really hadn't done the things necessary to grab a new fan base. Those people were Harvard, Yale, were just as big as Alabama and Auburn back in the day. Those people are no longer here. The Ivy they really want a bowl game. They did pitch that to NBC a few years ago with them and the Patriot League. And the NBC wasn't interested, but the Ivies, they don't draw that attention that they used to draw outside of Harvard, Yale.
Okay, got it. I mean, I wouldn't want to watch Ivy Brown. None of them. They.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you look at the NFL draft, the Ivies do a great job of putting guys in the league, and those guys play some good football. Ask Hampton or some of those other teams when Hampton was ranked top 5 in the country, and they had to go up there and play some of those guys from the Ivy Leagues. Them guys, they can ball now. They ball. Don't get it twisted.
I had a homeboy who went to Brown, so I guess.
Now, Brown ain't been good in a long time.
He's like, no, we don't talk about Brown.
No, not Brown.
Not Brown. Anyway, but
Yale has had some teams.
Listen,
over the last couple of
we
years.
had to. So, quick story. I played at University of New Haven. If you don't know where New Haven is, it's literally right down the street from Yale. Like, New Haven, Connecticut. We had to go scrimmage them. They were some of the biggest white boys I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, I thought it was going to be a pushover game. I thought we was going to have some book nerds, somebody that know how to do some calculus or something. Man, I'm telling you, they had a receiver like 6'4". I was like, God, all these boys big. Yeah, they get some big boys out there for real.
Yeah.
Now, going another direction, TSU, should they stay where they're at or should they come to a MEAC?
You talking about Tennessee State?
Yeah.
This is always my question when Tennessee State comes. Tennessee State comes up, right? What reason does Tennessee State have to join another conference, SWAC or MEAC, and them being black is not a reason? Because usually when I ask that question, that's people's number. Well, they're HBCU. Okay, give me something other than that.
Yeah.
Outside of we black and they black, so they should be over here with us. Tennessee State Tennessee State is in Nashville, Tennessee. The conference that they're in, the OVC, they literally have Tennessee Tech right there in Cookeville. You have Austin P right there in Clarksville. You have UT Martin up in Martin, Tennessee. They don't have Jacksonville State anymore. But most of that conference is literally a bus ride away. Tennessee State saves so much money on traveling because it's all right there. They're literally in a bus ride conference. Why would I give that up unless you can prove to me that I'm gonna make more money? And OVC is one of those conferences. They make money. They have a nice television deal. They have a nice deal with Adidas that I think that's conference wide that pays out some money. So the OVC makes money. They're not in the Southland type of position. The OVC is putting them in a spot to make money. Let's see if that continues with the heavy hitters like Jacksonville State leaving. Let's see if that changes because Jacksonville State brought a lot of eyeballs to that conference. But we'll see what happens with Tennessee State.
He said, "Name something other than we black." Boy, you stupid. Hey, let's get to some SWAC talk. We know you're a Southern alum, the Powerhouse. All right, that everybody loves to talk about. What would it take for Southern to get over the hump?
Stop shooting yourself in the damn foot. And this is the thing about coaching and playing ball. I have played ball and coached every year of my life since I was 5 years old. Like I ain't missed a year. When you play teams that are an equal talent to you or have more talent to you, the mistakes that you made during the year are magnified. You can get away with turning the ball over when you beat somebody by 21 points. You can get away with penalties. You can get away with a few blown assignments. You cannot do that against Alcorn, which has been the Achilles heel. If you look at Southern and that SWAC championship game for 2018 to 2019, there have been 3 plays that decided those 2 games. One was a 3rd and 7. Ladarius Skelton throws the ball out of bounds. He had Cameron Mackey sitting in the flats. Sitting in the hook. He ran a curl. He's sitting at 7 yards without a soul around him. He completes that pass, Southern gets the first down, in all likelihood scores and win that game. That's 2018. Okay. 2019, Alcorn scores to go up. You have the first down play where they didn't get it. They get that first down, that game looks completely different. You got to stop shooting yourself in the foot. And one of the other things that bothers me as a Southern alum and bother a lot of Southern fans, the slow starts. Southern starts slow out of the gate. Southern start the season 1-3, 1-4, and then win 7 in a row. So you got to stop the slow starts and really shooting yourself in the foot. You saw it against Arkansas Pine Bluff this past year. Southern shot themselves in the foot the entire first half. And then you had to play like hell to play your way back in it. Then had an opportunity to win it. And I have I have no idea where Lampley was throwing the ball on that last drive. Maybe he saw something that ain't none of us see but him. But he threw a punt that was intercepted, and they lost the game. So little things like that, that's what gets you over the hump.
Now, from I believe the game that I saw, and I know you're gonna know exactly. It was like 6 turnovers in the first quarter by both teams. Like, I mean, total of like 6. It was crazy. I never seen nothing like that in my life. I was rewatching it. It was like y'all would be in the red zone. Y'all would do a turnover. They would be in the red zone. They would be a turnover, and it was just going back and forth. But the thing that was bothering me the most was that Southern would run the ball down your throat to get there. And then in the red zone, you throw I'm like, you hadn't thrown the ball if I was a Southern fan, I swear I would have jumped down on the field and be like, what are we doing? We've ran the ball 80 yards. Yeah. Now we're in the red zone and we want to throw? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Alcorn 2019 on the reservation. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, what is, and also watching that game was Felix. I'm gonna say this: Felix is special, but if he's not in a rhythm, he's out of it. But if he's in a rhythm, you can't control him because it just starts. It's like a snowball effect. He just keeps going and going and going. But when he's off, you need to take full advantage of when he's off. Because you can get up really. I mean, he starts making bad throws, bad decisions. It's just like, oh man, who is this? How is he the offensive? Like, I'm watching the game. I'm like, how is he the offensive player? But then when you see like, oh, okay, when he gets going, it's something.
Yeah. And if you could get him off his mark, then you got an opportunity. But man, if he can sit back there and he can use his feet too. That's one thing about Felix that people forget. Mm-hmm. Felix can use his feet. He can run. And when you forget about that, and he can move the chains, and that's when he starts rolling. Man, he's a special player. And one thing I like about Felix Harper, he is not a big dude. Like I've stood next to him, had conversation to him. He's a small guy, but he plays big. So he's one of my favorite guys to watch. I like watching him and Glass, and I like to see people debate about the two.
Okay, I got a call on the line. Let me get him in here real quick. Hey, what's up, caller? Turn your background down for me, but you live.
What's up, man?
Talk to me.
I want to ask BJ this because I watch. I'm a Southern fan, and I watch plenty of Southern games. How do you feel about Shelton? Because I don't think he, as far as throwing, I don't think he's good enough to get Southern over the hump.
I would say this about Ladarius Skelton. People say that the biggest knock on Skelton is he can't throw.
Okay, appreciate it.
The biggest knock on Ladarius Skelton is his ability to throw the ball. Let me tell you something. Ladarius Skelton can throw the football. I want you to go back and watch the Bayou Classic, and I want you to watch, especially the 2018 game, I want you to watch a couple of those touchdown passes he threw. Mm-hmm. I want you to watch a couple of those touchdown passes he threw last year against McNeese State. It's not the fact that he can't throw. Sometimes it's where to throw and how fast to throw. Mm. People get decision making and can't throw mixed up with each other. As a coach, I look at the process. I don't just look at the end result. Mm-hmm. Where was your feet? Where were your eyes? What was your read? Where did you go? Mm-hmm. That's where he makes his mistakes. The arm is there. The decision making is questionable. Now, one thing I can say about him, man, he plays with a lot of heart. I was really disappointed in him the Arkansas Pine Bluff game when he allowed them to get into his head. I know he's from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and him coming out of that game really took a lot out of the sails out of Southern. But I think with Ladarius, you have to play to his strengths. And in the past, they've asked him to make decisions and make throws that, quite frankly, that's not his strength. Mm-hmm. Now, if you have Lampley or you have Bubba back there, that's their strength. Mm-hmm. But his strengths are different. You have to let the young man do what he's comfortable doing and set reads up that's comfortable for him. He's not Peyton Manning. He's more like a Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't ask Lamar Jackson to do what Peyton Manning does.
That's facts. Now, one thing when I first got into the SWAC and I'm watching spring games and I'm watching just old film, The one thing I can say about Skelton is he's the kind of quarterback you feed off of because like you can just see his energy off the screen. Like when he was playing against Alabama State and he ran this big run and he just gets up and he just shrugging and he like you can follow somebody like that to battle because you know he's going to give you everything he has, and that's why I had to put him on one of my top power rankings because I'm like, that's a quarterback you go follow. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, and I'm not comparing the two, but Jalen Jones and Skelton are both athletes. And I said the only thing that separates them is just the leadership. It's just leadership. They're both athletes, they're quarterbacks. They can make certain throws. They can't make other throws. But it's the leadership that Skelton brings in those moments that you're just like, yo, I want that guy. Like, I can follow that guy.
Man, he's a guy, man. He has a contagious energy, and everywhere he's gone, he's won. He won a state championship in high school. I think he won 2 of those. Won a JUCO national championship. He's a guy that wins, and he plays with a lot of emotion. The thing that you're going to have to corral in is, as a quarterback, sometimes you have to contain that emotion.
Now, how does Southern compete in the West with Alcorn now moving over? So now you have to go through them to get to the championship now.
Yeah, man. So I think that's the challenge right there, man. You have your boogeyman. It's now your next door neighbor, and for you to get off the block, you got to go through him. So I think in the West, I think that Southern and Alcorn's go. I think Southern and Alcorn are going to have to duke it out. And this is the thing about it is Coach Richardson would always say this, man. Anything easy ain't worth a damn. You're gonna have to earn this championship in the conference. It don't matter if you come from the East or the West. You're gonna have to earn this one. So what better way, to get back to that title game? You got to overcome Alcorn. You can't run from them. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing Southern and Alcorn. And look, Alcorn has won 10 out of the last 11. Southern has not beaten Alcorn since 2016. But I will say this: if you look at those ball games, the average margin of victory from Alcorn has been 8.6 points. It ain't like they just been skull dragons. Yeah. Now there've been some skull dragons in there. We go back to 2014. We go back to 2015. Oh, there've been some skull dragons in there. But for the most part, it's a game that's going to be decided by a possession or less.
All right. Now I have a slogan on here on the channel. I say put it on wax. Anything I say, you can always go back and check it because why? It's on wax. You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to put you on wax, and we about to break down this Southern record so we can see what you see and see what you're gonna tell everybody in the world Southern gonna look like this year. So let me get this all set up real quick.
I hope I can give you something. I hope I can give it all to you.
I hope it's something good. I want because the way people be coming at me about this Powerhouse. Oh, Southern's such a powerhouse. Man, listen, I'm so tired. So tired. I didn't know second place gets you Powerhouse. That's just me. It's just something different. Let me set this all up. Do. All right. So, all right, let me blow this up. Hopefully it worked. Let me see. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. There we go. All right, cool. So we got first one up is my Troy University. Loss or win?
No, I think that for that one, I think that's a loss. I think that is a probable win. Troy has not been the Troy that they used to be. And they have been hit hard by the transfer portal. One of the things that about Troy to look out for, they're bringing back a lot of starters on the offensive side and defensive side of the football. They didn't play particularly well their last FCS game. Actually should have lost that ball game. So I'm going to say loss, but I think Southern has a legitimate shot at that one because I think, right now, Troy is, like I said, they're not Troy. This ain't Neil Brown's Troy. This is a different Troy team. So
next up is Miles College at Baton Rouge.
Southern.
All right. McNeese State at Southern.
Now this one right here is a toss-up. Last time these two teams played, McNeese beat Southern by the score 34 to 28, 6-point win for McNeese. And this is the thing that frustrates Southern fans. Southern outgained McNeese State, had more first downs than McNeese State.
Mm.
The biggest difference in the game, we just talked about shooting yourself in the foot. Southern had 5 turnovers. McNeese State had none.
Mm.
McNeese scored 21 points off of Southern turnovers.
Dang.
Southern gift wrapped them the ball game. So like I said, with this one, I'm gonna call this one a push. We call that one a toss-up.
All right. I mean, in the scoreboard, it doesn't come out like that, but okay. I'll let you slide on that one. Valley.
Southern.
So I got you. We got a 2-1-1. That's a 2-1-1 for the first.
We got 2. Really, 2 and 2 possible. Damn, 2 and 2 possible.
Oh man. So I'll go with a strong. What's that? Let me see. 3-2.
I think potentially
2-1?
the record. I think the potentially.
2-2.
I think you're either going to get 2 and 2 or 3 and 1 out of this.
Okay, 2-2, 3-1. All right, we can rock with that. All right, next up, Texas Southern at Texas
Southern.
All right, the rematch in Pine Bluff. Who you got?
Southern.
That easy? No breakdown, no history, no, just Southern, huh? Just does it.
Them boys got it on their mind. This game right here is circled.
Okay.
They got it on their mind.
Okay. PV.
Southern.
So that's a 3. That's a sweep. So we had, let's just say it was 2-2. We had 5-2 right now. All right. Alcorn. Oh, it's at Southern. Okay. Alcorn at Southern. This could be for the championship. This could be going for the championship game.
For this one, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not finna be biased. I'm gonna say question mark because I ain't seen Alcorn.
True.
And that's the only reason I'm gonna say question mark. I haven't seen Alcorn. I don't know what they look like. I know what they look like, kind of sort of on paper. I know what LaCharles Pringle brings to the table. I know what Felix Harper brings to the table. I know, with a lot of those guys. But losing Quintero Cole was big. I do like the other young man back there, 15. Whereas 15, who name escapes me, he's a baller. But I'm gonna go question mark on that.
Now, when I was looking at the schedule, I'm like, these last 4 games, like,
they hell.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. But 3 of them at home, though. Like that. I mean, you can't ask for nothing better. 3 of these games at home, and so the fam game. Ooh, this game, I might have to go to this game. This is go. That's a game right there, fam. Depending on how FAMU looks, what you got, fam at home?
I got FAMU in that one.
Ooh,
I got FAMU close. I got FAMU close in that one.
Okay.
And then this is the reason why I say this. I can make an argument that FAMU coming to the season has the best team in the conference on paper. And if you know anything about HBCU football, you probably couldn't refute that either.
Now, my question is, even with you not knowing, because I said this early on one of the shows, I said, if they would have kept if the quarterback they had on 2019 was still here, I wouldn't even pick Jackson State to win that game, because I'm like, you can't beat chemistry. I would a brand new team against a team that just came off of a 9-2 and 10-2, all that. I'll take that team any day of the week. But them not having a solidified quarterback who's played with them again, to me, I'm a little up in the air about that. But you can help me understand.
Have you seen Holcomb, the kid at quarterback?
Corey, no. He came from Kansas State. That's the Kansas State kid.
Yes, sir. Look, I got a couple partners on that coaching staff at FAMU. And the only thing they do is laugh. They say, "Boy, just wait." First of all, he's 6'6". He's about 250. He can throw it. He has an arm like he's 6'6" and 250. And he runs it like he's 6'6" and 250.
Ooh, that Orange Blossom Classic gonna be legit. I'm so glad.
And then you look what he has around him: Azende Ray, Xavier Smith. All of those running backs are back. Bishop Bunnett and that group. That offensive line is back. On the defensive side of the football, I can make an argument that Marquise Bell is the best defensive player in Black college football. I can make that's a legitimate argument. about Marquise Bell because what he has is size and speed. We talk about a safety that can play corner, that's 6'3", that's pushing 215, 220, and that's running legit 4.49. And if you watch FAMU in 2019, that FAMU secondary was not spectacular. Marquise Bell being over the top made a lot of corners feel a lot more confident because he was the umbrella. He was the man back there. And then against Bethune-Cookman, he played corner most of the game. Oh, yeah. And he was following Jimmy Robinson. Yeah, Marquise Bell, he liked that.
Okay, listen, that's gonna be a game. That is gonna be a game. I'm trying to tell you, I cannot wait. All right, so you got fam. We're at Jackson State versus Southern at Southern. Boy, no background, no history, no nothing. Just Southern.
Jackson State Southern game is always going to be close.
I'm about to say, can I get a close? Can I get?
No, I mean that game is always highly contested. There have been a few games where Southern's been able to get them by more than 14 points. But for the most part, that game is a 10 to 14 point game. I think Jackson State, regardless to how their season is going, they're going to be a game. They play Southern tough. When Jackson State is at the worst of the worst, they play Southern tough. Man, I like Southern to get the game, but there's nothing easy about Jackson State, no matter who's the coach or who are the players. But like I said, 8 in a row, roll with Southern until I can't roll with them in that one.
All right, now I got a comment from the comments. If he couldn't get it done at K-State, nobody worry about no Corey Holcomb.
If he couldn't get it done at K-State, well, you can say that about Devontae Kincaid, right? He couldn't get it done at Ole Miss. I mean, that's usually what happens when people transfer. They couldn't get it done at point A, but I could give you more examples of transfers, and one that you're talking to right now that technically couldn't get it done where it came from, and then by the time they left, it was all conference. I mean, we can go. Tavares Jackson didn't get it done at Arkansas. He's one of the greatest players that played at Alabama State. You know what I mean? Michael Hayes couldn't get it done at LSU. He's one of the greatest receivers in Southern University history. So, I mean, transfers and where you transferring, that means nothing. All right, that means nothing.
Too easy. And the last one, the Bayou Classic, Southern versus Grambling. Now, before you answer, which I know is going to be Southern, please explain to me why I need to be worried about Grambling, because I said this year Grambling is, I would say they're like the Mississippi Valley State of the conference. That's just my personal opinion. But everybody tells me I'm wrong, that Grambling always plays you guys hard, and that it's always an opportunity for Grambling to still win. So please help me understand.
Grambling ain't gonna be Valley. At their worst, and I've seen Grambling at their worst, 2012, 2013. Even then, they ain't Valley. Grambling may not be championship or bust and be there, but Grambling's gonna come to battle. And the Bayou Classic is always tough. Man, forget about what happened in the spring. Man, that Grambling roster was depleted. I know people say, well, Southern's roster was depleted too. Not like Grambling. All right, not like Grambling. So I think with Grambling, I think Southern gets the win. But let me tell you one thing about Grambling. They're gonna bite somebody that they ain't supposed to bite. And I don't know who it's gonna be, but they're gonna get somebody that they're not supposed to get. And this game, how competitive it is going to really determine how the first 10 games of the season went for Grambling. Because if this season has gone bad, you're going to hear talks about Broderick Fobbs potentially being out. You might have some players that might mail it in, and if that happens, it might get real ugly in the dome.
All right, so let's get a quick recap of what we have here. So first section, you got to go 2-2, 3-0. We had 5-2, and so we had what 3-8, 8-3. That's what we got. 8-3. Did that win? Did that win the conference? 8-3 wins the conference.
It may or it may not. It may or may not.
Will like my mom said, will that queen walk? I don't know if that I don't know.
83 used to be able to win the conference. We don't know what it's like gonna look like with 12 teams.
Man, this is gonna be a year. This is going to be a year. So we got Mr. BJ Jones locked in at an 8-3. He put it on wax. 8-3 Southern year. We'll see how that works out. Could be 9-2. Could be 8-3. You know,
man, you got to help me out. What's going on with the Powerhouse thing?
All right, so Smash Town called into the show one day.
That's the band dude, right?
Yeah, the band dude. He's Southern alum as well. So he calls in and he's like, I'm such and such, and I'm like, who are you? He's like, I'm royalty, like Southern royalty. Well, I guess because he made the theme song of the Go Tiger. I don't know. Listen, you know, I don't know that. My SWAC hours are like below 6. You know what I'm saying? So he's talking all this mess, and he's like, Southern's a powerhouse. And I'm like, how are you a powerhouse if you keep coming in second? Like I said, I don't understand. I said, that's like Georgia saying they're a powerhouse in the SEC, but they keep losing to Alabama. I don't understand it. He's like, no, we're a powerhouse. And I'm like, bro, if you say you're a powerhouse, one more. So I just took it from what he was saying. I just made it my own. So I was like, oh, the Southern powerhouse. Like,
this is a good discussion because I went on a show earlier this week. We talked about this, not for Southern, but we're talking about the powerhouse teams in college football, right? Mm-hmm. And let me give you an example. If I told you, give me your 6 powerhouses in college football, what 6 teams would you give me?
Ohio State.
Okay.
Alabama, Clemson. I wouldn't do Stanford. In college football, we doing Power 5?
Yeah, Power 5.
Oh God. I would just pick the 4 that's usually in the national championship. Is Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama. I wouldn't do LSU because they just did it once.
So I'm with you with Alabama, Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Clemson, no. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because if I'm going to powerhouses in college football, we talk about throughout college football history. We ain't talking about. I'm looking at Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, USC, Oklahoma, and Nebraska.
I can't give you Nebraska. I can't.
And let me tell you why. When you start talking about this, we talk about who has done it over time. So with Nebraska, they were dominant from the 70s, really all the way up to the early 2000s. If you look at what Nebraska did as far as modernizing strength and conditioning, they actually changed the way that college football was played, especially from a strength and conditioning standpoint. And you look at the natties that they won. You know, they won those 3 and 4 years in the 90s, and then those natties that they won in the 80s. You look at what Oklahoma did. Oklahoma would have more natties. Oklahoma went through a 4-year period where they lost 3 games, and 3 of the losses was to Miami. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why I wouldn't put Clemson on there, right? Outside of 78, 80, they don't have the longevity. Like it's recent. They're almost like Oregon. You know, they're a new school to the party. So when I look at Powerhouse, how long have you done it? Is it something that's able to be sustained? When we talk about powerhouses, especially in Black college football, I'm going Florida A&M. I'm going Grambling. I'm going Southern, Jackson State. I don't care what they're doing right now, but their success over a period of time is, you can't deny. Southern has won a title in every decade outside of the 80s. In every decade in playing football, Southern has a title. Southern has 9 HBCU football national titles, have 17 conference titles. The only school in the conference with more titles than Southern is Grambling. Then right up under Southern, you have Jackson State. I don't care that Jackson State's been on hard times. Jackson State is a powerhouse. If you look at what Jackson State has done, people look at what's going on right now, and a lot of people are slaves to the moment. Like somebody said that Kevin Durant was better than Michael Jordan. I was saying, stop being slaves to the moment. You see the fresh new thing. No, look at this thing holistically, calm down, look at everything. And I think when you look at Southern as far as wins, top 25 FCS all time, winning percentage, top 25 FCS, look at titles, then historically they are a powerhouse.
Okay, so I like this comment. It says, but that's a program's prestige. And to me, if I'm keeping it in, I don't want to be a slave to the moment, but I'm gonna keep it in the vacuum. If I'm talking about a powerhouse recently, right? Like, because if you're talking about a program's prestige, we can talk about Miami, and they still living off their name in the 90s. It's the same thing with the Dallas Cowboys or the San Francisco 49ers, even though they went to the Super Bowl. Like, you're living off your name. You know what I'm saying? So Nebraska, you couldn't pay a top 5 recruit to go there right now because nobody's gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go to Nebraska to win a champ. No, because they're living off their name. That's it. Unless your daddy played for them or you knew somebody's daddy who played for them, and no real recruit is going to Nebraska, right? So when I'm saying a powerhouse, in my mindset is like, if I point out a team right now, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be in the national championship, or you're gonna be in contention to win the championship. I'll give Southern that then. I'll give you that because you're always in contention. I'll give you that. But to keep coming in second, I gotta hold you. I gotta hold your feet to the fire. You keep coming in second. Like,
so I look at it from, especially when I'm naming programs, I look at it of, do you have the ability to bounce back, right? I'm gonna give you an example. Minnesota was a dominant program at one time. You look at the national championships Minnesota won. Like, they were a dominant program up until about the mid-70s, right? They ain't been back since. All right. You look at Army, all those are dominant programs back in the day, like really, really back in the day. They ain't been back since. I look at your ability to be able to come back. Prior to Nick Saban getting to Alabama was living off Bear Bryant. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with Nebraska. Same thing with Oklahoma. Man, people didn't talk about Oklahoma when I was a kid. People didn't talk about Oklahoma until Bob Stoops got there in '99. So I look at your ability to be able to bounce back, and because once you have that history, it's easier for you to bounce back because people know that you've done it before. So when I look at prestige, powerhouse, I look at it. How long have you done it, and is it really sustainable? Because you're going to have ebbs and flows, but I know those teams that have that prestige, they can flow back because they've done it so often.
I can rock with it. I can rock with it because I mean it's sound, it's sound logic, But me, it's sound logic. But to me. A kid now, this is my thing when I'm trying to focus on powerhouses, right? Like, if a kid now, and let's take Power 5 out because we already know where everybody want to go. They want to go to Alabama. They want to go to Ohio State. They want to go to those schools because they know, one, they're NFL factories, and two, they're probably going to be in contention for national championships. But if we're just focusing on the SWAC, I think a lot of what the SWAC gets when it comes to powerhouses is, one, who has the best facilities in that, and then two, then it comes prestige. Like, I feel like it goes down to those prestigious programs, and like you said, it's going to come down to the Southerns, the Gramblins, the Fams, like people who like.
And this is the killer part about it now. This is the killer part about it. You talk about facilities. The schools with the best facilities in the conference ain't the ones that's really doing the winning that you think they'd be doing in football. Prairie View and Alabama State, right? Alabama State's facilities are amazing. Prairie View is right there with them. But if you go back and you try to compare facilities at Alcorn or facilities at Grambling or facilities at Southern to what you have in Montgomery and what you have at Prairie View, they don't add up. There's something about these schools outside of the shiny new things, and it's the history that's there. They get honestly, they get the kids there to get them on campus. So I think with the SWAC is different. Like, Grambling's gonna be back. I don't care how down they are right now. Grambling gonna be back. Even when you talk about Jackson State gonna be back. All right, it's only a matter of time before they're back. So I think even when Southern had their downtime, fans were saying to me, "Man, we know y'all coming back. It ain't no if, it's when." So I think those schools like that, but you compare them to Alabama State. Alabama State has 2 SWAC titles the whole time they've been in the conference. You see what I'm saying? So like sometimes that facility, Oregon got the best facilities in the world. How many natties they got?
True. Now I do like one comment coming from Top 5. He said, even in your down years, are you relevant? That's a powerhouse. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot. So, but to answer your question, that is all the powerhouse. That's where that came from.
Man, that was I remember you joking about that, and he was talking about how important the band was and all of that. That was funny.
Listen, I still remember the joke you said when you called in, hit it real quick, and then hung up. That Jake was funny. We used to talk about
perception and reality.
Yo, that Jake was hilarious.
No, it's hypothetical. No,
hypothetical. Yeah. Woo, that would have me out for a couple of days. Every time I would think about it, I would just laugh. Now so let's get back to this SWAC talk real quick. Okay. Now, once again, your fellow alum, Smash Time, he brought this up, and I thought it was a good point. He said, could JSU become the D1 JUCO? Right. And what he meant by that was them getting players, them having success with those players, and then them players going up to the next level, right after maybe a 1 year or 2 year, pretty much like a Kentucky thing, either them going pro or them going to the FBS level.
If you're Jackson State, you will hope they're leaving because they're going pro. You don't want them necessarily transferring out because that's the quickest way to APR hell.
Ooh.
So you want to make sure when they leave, if they're leaving as a grad transfer, like many of the kids are doing right now. You don't want them just leaving, the school, because that's how you end up in a bunch of red tape and all kinds of stuff with the NCAA.
Okay. Ugh, yeah. APR. When somebody said APR first, I was like, "Are we talking about interest rates? Why are we talking about?"
Nah, not your annual percentage yield.
I was like, "What are we talking? I don't know nothing about no APR. What are we talking about?" All right, now you kind of went to this question when you talked about Grambling, but I wanted to ask you, who are teams in the East and the West that you will see being spoilers? Like you said, Grambling getting somebody, biting somebody in the close to the end of the season. Who do you have seeing them being those spoilers?
Prairie View can play that role. So can Grambling. In the East, I would say Alabama State.
Mm-hmm.
Bethune-Cookman can play that role, in Jackson State.
Mm.
Jackson State has look. Jackson State, if they don't go to the party, one of the things that they do is make sure you don't go either.
Misery loves some company, boy.
If you go over the years and you look at the people that Jackson State has gotten,
and
then knock them out, like they think they going to the party, and Jackson State, nah, bro, we got this seat right here next to me.
Can't what you think?
Hold his L and sit right here. And Alabama State's good for it too. And the killer part about it, if you look at it over the last decade,
mm-hmm.
Jackson State and Alabama State have done it to each other.
Mm.
Like literally, there were years up under Rick Cummings when Alabama State knocked Jackson State out of contention. Jackson State was going nowhere. And then there were years where Alabama State looked like they were headed towards the title and Jackson State knocked them out of it. So they have traditionally done it to each other.
Oh, man. Okay, so will JSU walk away with the East?
No.
I'm assuming you have FAMU coming out of these.
Yes, between I got FAMU and A&M as my favorites.
Alabama. Okay, even with the deficiency of defense with Alabama A&M.
Yeah. And the only reason I say this is this. I think that Jackson State will have a lot to say about who walks away in the East, even if they don't win it.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing about Jackson State is you have games with them. Well, traditionally they have that one game where they kind of play out of their minds.
Mm-hmm.
You never know who that's going to who that game is going to fall against. So I think coming out of the East, if you had to ask me my favorite would be Florida A&M. And then that would be followed by Alabama A&M. And I got Jackson State right there. Believe it or not, I got Jackson State over Bethune-Cookman. Right now, I think those two. I think Jackson State, Bethune-Cookman, and Alabama State are going to be all right there with each other. And how that balances out, if one of those two can steal a game or two,
mm-hmm.
you can see them getting into conference championship contention.
Okay, I
got that gap ain't as big as it used to be.
Okay. Now, I have a question from Jeremy. He says, ask BJ, why does he have confidence in FAM, but is suspect on Alcorn, even though neither one has played since 2019?
Who said I was suspect on Alcorn?
Oh,
I said that, yeah, I'm not suspect on Alcorn at all. I think Alcorn, if you had to give me a favorite to come out of the West, my favorite is Alcorn.
Mm-hmm.
I like what they have on their roster as well. So no, I'm not suspect on Alcorn. What I'm suspect is how Southern matches up with them and how different Alcorn will look in 2021 compared to the last time we saw them in 2019. But I'm not suspect on Alcorn at all.
Got you. Got another question from the comments. Says, Coach Ken Evers moves to Valley as OC. What do you think about the move?
Oh man, it was a head scratcher at first. I'm like, man, what's going on at UAPB? But I know that he definitely wanted to be an OC. He's been working towards that. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good move. Him pairing up with Coach Dancy at Mississippi Valley. Coach Dancy, for what he has to work with at Valley, he's a hell of a coach. And what I'm afraid was going to happen with him is people are going to judge him based on wins and losses. Mm-hmm. When we know that no one has really won significantly outside of Titan in recent years at Valley, and that's going to hurt him in other opportunities. Dancy is one of my favorite guys, one of the guys I played against in the conference. Mm-hmm. So I remember him. We're close in age. And I think what he's doing with Valley, with what he has to work with, I think he's doing an amazing job.
Man, listen, I spoke to a couple coaches down at the Deion Sanders camp, and I really, Coach Dancy, if you're watching this, I really wanted to talk to you, bro. But you was talking to a lot of people, and I didn't want to be that groupie. But real talk though, I was talking to one of his coaches that came down, and I say one thing I've noticed about games with Valley is they don't quit. I said for no matter how that scoreboard might look, they do not quit. And I take it back to that Jackson State game. I'm like, I think they scored one touchdown in the second half. Once everything, I'm like, no, that doesn't usually happen to teams getting blown out like that. You lay down, teams lay down, and you can just see the fight in their team. And I'm like, man, if they got something down there, they could be something crazy. I'm telling you, because I believe in Coach Dancy for real. I would, if you're watching this Coach Dancy, just come on the show. I love the interview. But yeah,
and that's a tough place to play too, man. That's a tough place to play.
With the crowd rocking like that?
Nah, it's just it's different, man. It ain't exactly easy to get to. It's hot as hell. The mosquitoes flying around on steroids. I mean, it's a bunch of stuff, and it just feels odd. Like it literally feels like you playing football on the set in the heat of the night. All right. And you got a whole bunch of cats, walking around the stadium, kind of remind you of Sweets and Virgin Tibbs. And it's just a real odd setup. And if you get lost up in that, what you'll forget is that Valley usually has some really good football players over there. And the next thing you know, you go into halftime and you're only up 6 or you're down 6, and you're trying to figure out what the hell happened.
Something is wrong with you.
Man, let me tell you something, man. I first of all, I ain't been up there since I was forced to go.
Oh right? My goodness!
So I haven't been to I haven't been to a game in Valley, and tough. And I remember the last time we went, matter of fact, we lost the Valley in 2005. Oh, wow. And I remember, man, going up there, and they had, man, this dude that had like this, this like Eldridge Cleaver blazer, ill-fitting blazer, kind of showing us like the where to go in the locker room and stuff. And everything that day just felt odd. And we left and lost the damn Valley. Yeah, I ain't been back since.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so funny. You something else. All right, now listen. This has been one of the most lightning rod topics on this channel, because I'm not a band guru. I don't scout no band directors, and I don't play no drums. But will football ever surpass the band in the SWAC?
What the heck? Hold on. First of all, when you talk about the SWAC and you talk about the conference as a whole, the SWAC is known for football. Walter Payton, Steve McNair, Eddie Robinson, Buck Buchanan, even recently, Jason Strahan, Tavares Jackson. The SWAC is known as a football conference. The bands are, I'm not going to take anything away from the bands. They are important. They add to the environment. They add to the game day experience. By no chance are they the game day experience. When ESPN and them folk come in and they stroke them checks, it ain't about the band. It's about the football and the pageantry of the conference. And the bands do add to that. Let me give the bands their credit. The bands add to the environment. I'm never going to, take a shot at them because those young men and women, they work very hard and they do something that I can't do. They can play. You put me on the instrument, it's going to be jokes and jokes. All right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I can dance a little bit now.
But give you on the triangle.
Yeah. Hey, give me a pair of them cymbals. Teach me how to twirl them or something like that. But hey, I like them boys. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, they be fresh. When the band be playing, I be looking at them boys on them cymbals, man. Hey, that's fresh right there. I like that. But I ain't gonna lie, I be looking at that. That's fresh. Yeah, I try not to look at the girls too hard.
Oh my goodness!
I have to remind myself that they in school, they school age. And yeah, no R. Kelly over here, but in serious talk, man, the football is what the SWAC is known for. The band is the hot sauce on the chicken. It ain't the chicken. The chicken is better with the hot sauce. You know what I mean, or the lemon pepper, or whatever you may do. But the football is what it is.
That's a bar. That's a bar for all you bad. Listen, don't come here. Listen, I don't want to hear nobody in my comments talking about some. Oh my God, you just brought BJ on here to strength. Listen, I don't have no SWAC hours. I don't have no SWAC hours. My man has been born and raised in the SWAC, and he is telling you this out the goodness of his own heart. He's saying that.
Man, speaking of the band, man, shout out to my boy Brian Simmons, man, new band director at Texas Southern, man, Southern University alum. Man, proud of you, man. Congratulations, B.
All right, let me take this caller real quick. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to us.
Hello.
Is this Malcolm?
This is Malcolm.
I'm sorry, Mr. BJ. You about to get it because this dude, he's something else. Go ahead, Malcolm.
Numbers don't lie. First of all, I don't like Southern University. And when you say TSU, if you're a real SWAC person, when you say TSU, you don't ever think about Tennessee State. You think about the great Southern University, the greatest university in the world. Excellence and achievement. That's what we do. We have the best band. Our football team, we're the only SWAC school that's in a major city.
Get to your question.
So our football players have to deal with that every single day. Yeah, the women in Southern are beautiful, but we got Megan Thee Stallion. Is a guy on campus. That's why our football team is not where it's supposed to be. We got the best HBCU player.
Your question.
His name is Michael Strahan. You see him every morning when you wake up. How could you mess that up? You can see him on the evening on some of those game shows. Michael Strahan, the best defensive end.
Malcolm, what is your question, my guy?
Well, the question, I have too much.
You still down, Mal?
In the past, I'm just disappointed that he could get Michael Strahan's name mixed up. And I'm a Texas Southern grad, proud graduate. And then how the hell? Well, there's no reason to go there. But how could I respect Southern's band? But the majorette for Southern University is no more than y'all's quarterback. Let's just be honest. The captain of the drum majors are more well known than the quarterback. So I mean,
who's the quarterback? Who's the drum major at Southern University right now, Malcolm?
The only reason
Malcolm, hold on, Malcolm. He asked you a question.
Malcolm, who is the drum major at Southern University right now?
Hello?
Yeah, who's the drum major?
Who is the drum major at Southern University right now?
Me? I'm not a Southern graduate. That's a big.
You know who Ladarius? But you know who Ladarius Skelton is, though, don't you? You know who Ladarius Skelton is, though, don't you?
Hello.
Yeah, you here?
You know who Ladarius Skelton is, though, don't you?
Muted and unmuted. I don't.
Yeah, because you're talking over him. You know what I'm saying? It's a conversation. So he said, you know who Ladarius Skelton is, right? Don't you?
Yeah, but also no. I probably would have just. I know the last name of the last four Southern majorettes, captains of the majorettes.
All right, Malcolm. Your phone's breaking up. You're not asking questions. I'll talk to you later. Appreciate you, my guy. Yeah, he's.
Hold on. Let's man. Shout out to Malcolm, man. You know who Ladarius Skelton is. Jordan Lewis is literally going on tour right now for winning the Buck Buchanan Award. All right. He has literally been on ESPN, CBS Sports, just left from Atlanta for the Black College Football Hall of Fame, where he just won another award that was highlighted on the NFL Network. All right. And as far as Texas Southern, all right, Texas Southern, hopefully your band will be better. But I ain't heard nobody say, damn, Texas Southern band coming to town. That might change with Brian Simmons. I think he do because that boy bad with the pen, all right? And I hate to lose him. But as far as Texas Southern as a football program, I know who Michael Strahan is, all right? I know who Michael Strahan is. I've met him several times, all right? So I know who Michael Strahan is. But let's look at the facts about Texas Southern football. Right, so that's what we're talking. You know how many winning seasons Texas Southern has had in football over the 100 years that they've been playing? You know how many winning seasons Texas Southern has had? 19. You know what Texas Southern's all-time winning percentage is in the sport of football? I think it's about 41%. You know when the last time Texas Southern won a SWAC championship that wasn't vacated? I think you got to go all the way back to, I think, the early 80s. So Texas Southern just didn't get bad. It goes back to when we started talking about program prestige. Texas Southern has always been bad, and it just didn't start. And maybe if people like Malcolm will show up at some Texas Southern football games, and instead of us just seeing the orange seats every game, maybe that'll change. You can convince some kids to actually go to Texas Southern. But until then, you keep watching the majorettes, Playboy, and they might be the only place your pride and joy come from for Texas Southern until we roll out them basketballs.
Oh, he said, "Don't get up, Malcolm. Don't get up. I'll help you. Hey, caller, you live.
Hey, this is Jay Ford. Can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, Mr. Ford? What's good? Talk to me.
Hey. Listen, I don't know if y'all heard, but one of the legendary figures in the history of HBCUs passed yesterday, Dr. Frederick Humphreys, who at one time was president of Tennessee State and presided over a golden era at Florida A&M. He was the one who was responsible for bringing in Billy Joe to Florida A&M, but he passed on yesterday, and he was one of the pillars of that Florida A&M University. And I agree with the other person that's talking there who said that it's about the football team. But let me just tell you this. The SWAC is known all throughout the country on all levels as having the best halftime shows in the country. I got friends who work at Ohio State. They watch Southern, Grambling, Florida A&M. The same thing with the University of Southern Cal. They steal from from SWAC bands. Two things I'm going to say to you before I hang up this phone. Number one, the word is that there have been 3,000 high school athletes have come through Tallahassee, primarily at Florida State. Here's the thing. Florida A&M is looking at all of those athletes, okay? The word is that Willie Simmons is putting in place a plan to dominate the SWAC for years to come, okay? Second thing I want to tell you is this. Most people don't know this, but they're saying that the athletic department at Bethune-Cookman is in disarray. They've lost their leader, Lynn Thompson. He's stepping down as athletic director. and they said there is no leadership down there. This man was a giant. He basically controlled that athletic department for the last 30 years and was very successful. But I'm being told that the athletic department at Bethune-Cookman is in disarray, and so I want you to keep your eye on that. I just wanted to say that, but I want to let your other host know he's correct. The SWAC is about football, but they have the best bands in the country.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
All right, have a good night.
You too. He said, "Hey, just want to let you." He said, "I just want to let you know." Just want to let you know. You know what I'm saying? You want to speak on anything about the because I don't know anything about no athletic directors. You know, I don't know nothing about that.
I don't know, man. It's that athletic director, man, he did a lot. He's well thought of. I was shocked to see him step down. You heard rumblings, I think it was like last year, about Terry Sims maybe out as the football coach down there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to Bethune-Cookman. They've had some turmoil down at Daytona Beach, but we'll see what happens. Usually around football season, they get to win and people start forgetting.
Hey, listen, if people forget that Michael Irvin used to do crack because he won a Super Bowl, anybody can forget anything if you just start winning. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm not going to ever forget when Michael Irvin got and had a press conference when they found that crack in his trash can, that crack pipe in his trash can. And that man said it was Thanksgiving and he was feeling Thanksgiving D. He got one of his boys from the ghetto, a crackhead. He brought him over his house for Thanksgiving dinner. He pat him down and he found a crack pipe on a crackhead. Wow, who would have thought that, Mike? And he said he threw it in the trash. But then he got out of the trash because people check his trash because he's famous. And when he got pulled over, he forgot that he had grabbed the crack pipe from the crackhead. Now, this is what I'll never forget this story because I was thinking about this. I can believe that Michael Irvin did go to the hood to get one of his boys. I can believe that he did take him to his house, for Thanksgiving dinner. But you want me to believe that a crackhead left a crack pipe up under your seat?
What kind of
a crackhead? That's where you lost me at. Crackheads forget a lot of things. They might forget their birthday. They might forget their social security number. They ain't gonna forget no crack pipe.
Oh my God, boy, you are Oh, let me get to this next caller. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to us.
What's going on, Scotty? This is Brent calling from Dallas.
What's up? Talk to us.
DFW in the house.
Question for Mr. Jones. Just wanted to know, this most recent SWAC championship was played at what you could call a neutral site in Jackson, Mississippi. What are the chances that the SWAC goes back to the neutral site format for the championship game? And love your show, Scotty. Thank you.
Appreciate you, my guy.
I think it's a fair chance that the SWAC goes back neutral site. If you are in the know with anything about the conference and anything about where the conference sits, the city of Birmingham has made no bones about it that they would like to have the conference championship game back. And adding FAMU and Bethune-Cookman in that, the footprint of the conference shifting further to the east, it makes a lot of sense. Birmingham just built a new facility downtown, right there in the heart of the city. I would not be shocked the next couple of years to see the SWAC championship game played in that new facility. The mayor and everyone else has been out front and saying, this is what we want.
All right, got another caller on. Let me get you real quick. Hey, Coach Green, you on? Talk to us.
What's up, man? I got a couple of questions, then I'm gonna hang up and listen, man.
All right, too easy.
You got a good show going on. All right. I want to know what you think about the quarterback at Texas Southern, the freshman quarterback that came in, put up the big numbers. What do you think about the moves that Grambling made as far as offensive coordinator and offensive line coach? And That's about it. That's all I got right now.
All right, Coach Green, appreciate the call.
That boy from Texas Southern, a bad man.
Jalen Brown,
That's a bad man.
Sir.
Hey, he could go. He could go. He's a bad man. I like him. I saw him play a few games. Saw him play against Prairie View. Saw he was able to do from Southern, true freshman. That's a bad man. I'm telling you, if they can get a few pieces around him, he can make Texas Southern real dangerous. All right. And as far as Grambling, you got to do something. You got to do something. And you were, I knew something. You're going to have drastic changes when a coach feel like, hey, this might be my last hurrah. I got to get it right. I think that's what they did, but they made some solid hires. I can give Grambling credit for that. They made some solid hires. You bring back a guy to coach the defensive backs that knows the terrain. You got a solid offensive line coach from UL Lafayette. I like the moves they made. Offensive coordinator. He has the pedigree. He's been able to do as a head coach. From the JUCO and lower division ranks. I like him. They made some solid moves. I like the moves they made at Grambling. It better work. It better work. It better work.
Yo, it's your eyes for me, bro. You look. Hey, listen.
Because it made you in the position now where there might not be a next year. If you're Project Fobs, it better work.
Yeah. Now the same. So let me ask you this: with the adding of the new coaches in Southern, how do you feel about adding him and the surrounding cast that they have? Because what I will say before I let you go, whoever was calling plays in them last SWAC championships, he should have been gone. He should have been gone. I don't care what nobody say, but that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a Southern fan or alum, but go ahead.
That's Berry, man. He's a head coach at Benedict right now. Interesting to see what he does up there at Benedict. For Southern, the biggest thing that you got Jason Rollins, the interim head coach, you got on the staff, which means that you kept most of the staff. And then the guys that they brought in, they upgraded. Ryan Pugh on the offensive line, who was the offensive line coach and offensive coordinator at Troy and UTSA. Bringing in a receivers coach, a young guy, Washington from Missouri. And they brought in some heavy hitters, and you were able to keep that staff intact. The staff knows the personnel, staff. So that was a big win. Now it's going to be interesting to see how this season goes, because at this point you got a win-win-win to turn that interim tag into a permanent tag and drop below where you were.
Facts.
So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on that staff to be able to perform very well.
All right. I don't have any more questions for you, Mr. BJ Jones. If you have something you want to talk about or you have any shout outs, you can right now. If I get any callers while you're doing any of that, I can bring them on. But if you want to get your call in, we're gonna probably shut this down a little bit. So if you want to get your call in, it's 701-801-6395. Listen, this is Mr. BJ Jones. You see him on everything game day. You see him on the inside of this, inside of that. If you have a question in this, let me see. Somebody in the comments says, Coach Odom brings what to North Dakota State? Thoughts on what Coach Odom brings to Norfolk State? I'm sorry, not North Dakota. North Dakota.
Well, one thing's about Coach Odom's, one thing that you could say about him, his teams are extremely disciplined. They're extremely disciplined, and they're built from the inside out. They dominate up front on the defensive line and offensive line. That's something that he's going to bring to the table there. You're going to deal with a disciplined football team. Now, is it going to be flashy? No. And he demands that young men represent themselves, their families, and the university in a certain way. Southern had no off-field problems with any players during his entire tenure. He graduated them early. And made productive members of society. That's what you expect to see. And on the football side, he's going to be competitive. He's going to win. Now, is he going to win enough to get you over the hump to get you down? That remains to be seen. But he's going to win and do the things necessary for Norfolk State to be successful.
All right, appreciate it. I got a caller in. Let me see. Hey, caller, you loud. Talk to me. Hello? 9632.
My bad. Yep.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Talk to me.
Hey, it's Sean.
What's good? Talk to me, Sean.
Yo, I got a question. So, do you think that Jackson State will be too hyped up going into this season, and that it might get to their heads and they tank?
No, I think that one of the things that Deion Sanders does well, a lot of people don't want to give him credit for, he's a player's coach and he gets players to understand the moment. And that's one of the things that he does well. And quite frankly, most of these guys that are coming together, they don't have really anything to be hyped about. This is a new team. The identity is going to be created based on what you do on the field. And I think that he and that staff is going to do a great job of communicating that to those guys. One of the guys that people don't talk about on this staff is T.C. Taylor. T.C. Taylor, if you're talking to guys on that team, whether they've left or not, he's a real in sync with the players, mediator, players, coaching staff. All right. So I think that those guys will be focused. I think they're gonna have a big ball game to open up the season. And if you want to see how that season could possibly go, you might get an indication on that in Miami. If they win that game or play Florida A&M close, I like the momentum that Jackson State has. If that game gets out of hand, pay attention to the next week. We'll see if they tank or they get it together. So, but I don't think they're going to be really overhyped or anything. I think Coach Sanders is going to keep that team kind of where they need to be. Appreciate you, Sean.
Appreciate it, Sean.
And let me tell you something else, man. I don't understand the Deion Sanders hate. Well, now we'll talk about that after your next call.
Oh no, I don't have no callers on the line. You go. It's on you.
I don't. And this is the thing that kind of frustrates me about people that are either too far to the left or too far to the right.
Mm-hmm.
You got a group of people that criticize everything that Deion Sanders does. Oh, he did this. Oh, he did this. He did. Deion Sanders is a first-time head coach. He is not going to bat 1,000. All right. You got head coaches that have been head coaches for 10, 15 years, and they don't bat 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There are going to be mistakes made along the way. I know I make mistakes as a coach. All right. I made some mistakes in the spring that it had not been a spring would have resulted in some L's. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that some people just looking for anything to jump on when it comes down to Deion Sanders. But then on the opposite side, there are some legitimate gripes against Coach Sanders. And if you say it, you're automatically lumped into a hater. And you go into this deeper black people, kumbaya, your crabs in the barrel and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things I tell people, man, is just relax and let the thing play out.
Yeah.
Relax and let the thing play out. One of the things that I can say about Deion Sanders, and I can say this because I've talked to him, his heart is in the right place and he has a passion for what he's doing. And I trust that he has the right people around him to guide that passion and what it is that he wants to do. But whether he does it or doesn't, whether he achieves or fails, it doesn't take any skin off your back. And that's what people don't understand, man. Like, you're the dude to break, man. Let him fail or succeed. Let him fall off the tricycle and get back on. This is his first job. He will learn.
Facts. All right, caller, you live. Talk to us.
Yeah, I was calling in about the.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, I'm calling from Kenner, Louisiana.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the SWAC this year. I'm calling from Kenner, Louisiana.
Go ahead. You probably got your background on, so turn your background down so you can just hear me talk to you through the phone.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, just turn your background down. Yeah. So you don't get it mixed up because it's delayed.
Yeah, I think the SWAC is going to be. Oh, okay. Oh.
Stop! Don't listen to the television.
Yeah,
listen to the phone.
Between Jackson State and Alcorn, I think both of those programs at least Alcorn has proven over the years to be a vulnerable foe. But I do give Deion Sanders a lot of credit. I think that Deion is building a good house up there, and people just got to wait to see how the house turn out after he finished the house. But I know this program at Alcorn. I know Deion's a big name, but I still think the McNair brand in Mississippi is bigger. It's bigger, and hopefully it'll work out that way in the fall. But my question to you is that I know you probably don't go back this far. In the 70s, Jackson has always had star players, all the way from the 70s to the 80s. They had even the boy that's a leading wide receiver, all-time leading wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars from Jackson State.
Jimmy Smith.
Jimmy Smith.
You can go back to Walter Payton, Robert Brazile, all these guys. But Alcorn has always managed to beat these guys, even though they had all that talent. And your team up there in Baton Rouge, Southern, they haven't played. They haven't been successful. You know, they've underplayed. And the reason being is because the coaches, for some reason, in the past, wasn't able to get these guys up to playing speed, or didn't let them realize how big the show was. You know, and this guy you just hired, this guy that's Rollins or whatever his name. I'm gonna come.
Jason Rollins.
My son was up for that job at Southern, and he should have got that job because he was 33-3. You don't find it. He's probably the youngest, brightest mind in college at football right now.
What's your son's name?
Southern. I mean, you hired a guy that was interim. One thing he did was 2 years at Tulane, 2 years at McNeese, and 2 years out there in Texas. If he had been good, a good enough coach, he would have been out there. He would have stayed there.
Question for you.
I'm talking about is the head coach from Langston.
Slow your roll, sir. Stop. Thank you. All right, it's a conversation. You gotta give us a chance. Who is your son's name? You said your son had a chance at the job. What's your son's name?
Quentin Morgan from Langston University.
Oh, from Langston. Okay, Quentin.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, do you want to respond to anything you said, Mr. BJ, about, why they shouldn't have hired or anything? Because, I mean, you can't listen. I appreciate the call, but you can't ramble because, you say so many points. We can't knock all your points out. So go ahead, Mr. BJ.
What Langston has been able to accomplish has been amazing. You look at their head coach and his record. It's amazing. There's a big difference from jumping NAIA up to Division I football. And this probably was one of the things that may have went against them. I don't know. I didn't make that decision. But I will say one of the biggest things for Southern in the moment, especially with the transfer portal, was keeping not only the kids together and keeping that staff together. A lot of the times when people make hires, they look at it as a hire in the moment. A hire can fracture your program, where the train gets off the track and then you have to work double time to get it back on, to get it back going again. So I think for Southern, you had the train was already going. Your entire thing that you wanted to do is make sure that train kept going and not have a situation where you had after Pete Richardson, where you had Stump Mitchell and that thing got completely off the rails and then you had to build it back up. So I think they may have played a role in it. But your son is an outstanding head football coach. What he's done at Langston has been nothing short of amazing. What I want to see him do next is to have that success going into the postseason and really pushing for an NAIA national championship. Because I think so far they've been one and done in the NAIA playoffs.
He is listening through the TV.
Yeah, he is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Now
we hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Stop listening through the TV. We can hear you.
What I was saying is that Southern has been unachieving. It's an unachievable program. Man, Alcorn, can you hear me now? Alcorn got 3,100 students up there. 3,100 students. And every year, they is in the championship or they done won the championship. And Southern is sitting in Baton Rouge. Alcorn has nothing to offer out there. Southern got everything to offer a kid. Everything. But they can't get the athletes up there. Reason being, they keep hiring the wrong coaches. Hey, I'm just not pulling my son to take it here. But that was the same thing, same problem with Jackson. Jackson went down here because they was hiring the wrong coaches. You said Nebraska a while ago when y'all was talking about Powerhouse. If Nebraska brought Nick Saban up there, they'd be back at Powerhouse. It all got to do with the coaching, man.
Hey, do you know Southern's record? Since you said that Southern was down, do you know Southern's record over the last 10 years? Hello?
Oh, he got off the line.
All right, let me be objective. And I like when you start talking about your school, you have to be objective and you have to use nothing but numbers. But in the last 10 years, Southern has a conference title and 4 division titles. They have been in the championship game 5 of those 10. They haven't had a losing season since 2012. What's the last losing season? When you say they aren't successful, what is your success? And if you're going to say that they're not successful, then you should say, hey, my son will make them successful. I can make an argument that your son has pretty much done the same thing that Southern has done, won a lot in the regular season and then lost when it mattered. I mean, I can legitimately make that argument if we're going to go there. I think that the young coach at Langston, I think that if he keeps winning, the opportunities are going to come. But I do think that he's one of the best, brightest young minds in HBCU football and the football period. Don't take away nothing from that young man.
I think this might be him calling back in. Let me see. Hey, caller, you live?
Yeah, man. My phone went dead.
All right, listen to me before you start talking. Do not listen to the TV. Just listen through the phone. All right, because you're gonna hold up the conversation if you keep trying to hear us on the TV. It's delayed. All right, so just listen to us through the phone. You got it?
Okay, I got you.
Got you. All right, now go ahead.
All right, now okay, now can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Good.
Oh, okay. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, Southern has won some games and all that, but only thing I'm saying is that when you take a job or when you have a job, you got to have a plan, and then you got to have a way that you're gonna carry this plan out. And most of the coaches that I see that get hired, they get hired on what they've done, perspectability, but not on the plan that they have for their school. I'm just saying, man, Southern and Jackson both, man. They just have unachieved. Hopefully, Deion Sanders can bring some glory to Jackson, back to Jackson. But Southern, they had no excuse. You know, there's no way in the world you should have been losing all those games all these years. You got your facilities is much better. You surrounded by great players out of the city of New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and all that. And I'm not saying that. Hey, my son, I believe he could have turned this thing around for Southern because he had a plan. You know, you just don't you don't say I want this job. But before you take a job, you say, hey, I got a plan for this program. I got a plan to take this program here, and I got a plan this is how I'm gonna make it happen.
All right, hold on.
When he went to Jackson,
I got a question. I got a question for you.
Scott Jackson.
Sir, hold up. Sir. It's a conversation, not a monologue. It's a conversation. All right, hold on. Go ahead, Mr.
I got a question for you. You said that the coaches that Southern hired has not had a plan. How do you know this? Have you talked to them? Have you sat in those meetings with Roman Banks? What brings you to that conclusion that there was no plan?
Turn your TV off. Like I will hang up on you, sir. Turn your TV off. Don't look at it. Just stay on the phone.
The reason I'm saying this is because over the years I've had probably 10 or 12 players at Southern University. You know what I'm saying? And each one of them that has played at Southern has gave me the same dance.
And what was that?
I think his phone died again.
No.
Did you understand?
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's back. He's back.
Okay, here we go.
I said over the years. Did you hear me?
We can hear you. Get off the TV. Like, stop being on the TV. Listen, turn the TV off.
All right, I got the TV off.
All right.
I said,
all right, here we go. Yeah.
Over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, over the years, I've had over probably about 13 or 14 players up there, Southern. And each one of them has gave me the same dance. You know, when I ask, hey, man, what happened to y'all? Hey, I can get the same story. I'm waiting for a player that I sent up to Southern come back and bring me a new story. But this is the same story, man. It's got the same story and it's got the same ending.
What's the story and what's the ending?
Listen, I gotta let him go. I can't.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, my man Langston, he a bad boy though. He a bad boy.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. No. Listen. Oh, and we about to shut it down because it's getting late anyway. If you call into my show, turn your TV either down or off because it's delayed. We all know if you watch something on the internet live, it's delayed. Okay? Delayed. Stop it. All right, go ahead, Mr. BJ.
Man, like I said, man, it's with those situations, man, like if you haven't sat in those meetings, you haven't talked to those coaches one-on-one, if you ain't sat in those coaches meetings, you have no idea. And that's just not for Southern. That goes for anyone. People say, well, they do X, Y, and Z. They do this, that, and other, man. How do you know? That's why, one of the things that I do in media, man, is that I try to bring the game that I know, the X's and O's, and break it down for people to understand. And I think that's one of the things that help make me successful. Especially, I tell people, man, I don't just look at the end result. I look at what was the process to get to that. And one of those things, like people, well, they don't have a plan. Well, if you don't have a plan, you're not getting an interview.
Facts.
There's no way for you to get an interview and get hired as a head coach. You say, I just want the job. You have to show some type of plan. What is your plan? There's too much money at stake to just let that ride like that. So
I like what Varick Williams says. He said he just mad his son wasn't considered. And I'm not saying he wasn't considered, but he sounded real emotional. That's all I'm gonna say. And I don't think it's a good look to come on the show and just say my son should have got the job when Mr. BJ Jones simply just told you your son ain't won nothing. Like, he won a lot of games, but he hasn't won any. Like, you literally, first of all, if we really want to break this thing down, your son has won at a lower level, but it hasn't won the big. That's like Urban Meyer saying, yo, I should have got the Ohio State job, and he never won at Bowling Green. He never won at Utah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he built his track record, so everywhere I go, I win. So you got to respect it. You know what I'm saying? And he's just proven that. Now, if your son had 2 back-to-back champions in the NIA. You're like, okay. You know about winning the big game. You know about getting your players ready to win. But if you keep getting knocked out in the first round, if you keep, you winning your if you winning your division, Odoms was doing that. So what's different? Like we let them go because we tired of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just little stuff like that. But if your son's doing big things out in Langston, he's doing big things out in Langston. Like, congrats. You know what I'm saying? Like, do your thing.
He'll get a shot. If he keeps that ball rolling at Langston, he keeps them in the top 25 and NAIA, keeps them getting them to the playoffs. He'll get a shot. It may not be a Division I shot, it might be a Division II shot, but he'll get a shot. And all the thing that you want is a shot to move up, prove yourself, and then move up again. Put yourself in the best possible position. He's young. I want to say he's 34. So he's very young, man. He's at the beginning of his coaching career.
Yeah. All right, I got 2 questions. I'm gonna let you go, Mr. BJ. Jordan, he been blasting this question to me like 6 times. And he's like, ask BJ if he thinks FAMU gets past BCU this year, hopefully.
I'm gonna say no until I actually see him do it. And this is the thing about FAMU. If you go back and you look at rosters, FAMU has had a better football team than Bethune-Cookman. I know for the last 3 or 4 times they played. That has meant absolutely nothing when they played. And I don't understand it. I've watched the games. I don't get it. There's something about Bethune-Cookman that I don't know, man. I don't get it. FAMU, I can make an argument 2019. FAMU was the best team in HBCU football, and they lost to Bethune-Cookman. I don't get it. They were a pick 6 away from going to the Celebration Bowl in 2018. I don't get it. Don't get it. I don't get it, man.
Oh, man. Last question of the night. And I really, really like this question. It says, do you think the loser of the JSU FAMU game will potentially be out of the East Division race early?
No, they're not going to be out because it's at the beginning of the season, but they're going to need a lot of help. And that's one thing. I ran a poll on Twitter. What was the most important with the opening game in HBCU football at the FCS level that you were looking forward to? And this is the thing about outside of FAMU and Jackson State and the Orange Blossom Classic being back, this is a division game. The loser is now behind 2 games before we even get out of Labor Day weekend. So if you lose this game, you have a steep uphill climb if you want to get in that championship game. So that's why this game is so important. It's basically a championship game right out of the gate. The loser is not out, but they're gonna need a lot of stuff to go right, and they're gonna need a lot of help.
All right. So I got a call on the line. I'm gonna ask you, Mr. BJ, do you want to take it or you want to roll out?
Yeah, come on, man. Come on.
Hey, Coach Green, you live. Talk to us. Turn your TV down. You already know the drill. Yeah, I'm about to say, you know the drill. Turn your TV down.
All right.
What's up, Coach?
You hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you good.
Okay. This is my opinion. I want to hear what BJ got to say about it. Jordan Smith, he got the measurables and the numbers. I feel like he might be a high draft pick. I don't know how high. I think 3rd or 4th, maybe 5th round. So what round how high you see Jordan Smith getting drafted? And something else, and one other thing I'll mention. One of the things about Southern that people don't talk about is their strength program. They got a hell of a strength program. I want to know how BJ feel about it. And that's all I got to say, and I'm gonna listen.
Are you talking about Jordan Lewis?
You talking about Jordan? Hey, Coach Green, before you go, and he rolled out. I think he's talking about Jordan Lewis, the D, and he says he see him going about 3rd or 4th round.
The thing that works against Jordan is his size. The thing that works for him is what he does on the football field. I think that they'll find a place for him. I think that what scouts probably want to see from Jordan is his ability to play in space, play more of a traditional outside linebacker. But Jordan Lewis has all the abilities in the world. Strength and conditioning has played a major role in Southern success. You see what they're able to do on the offensive line and the defensive line. That's attributed to that strength and conditioning program. You saw when there were breaks of it. You really saw injuries really take a toll in the spring. But now they're back into it. They don't have the COVID restrictions. The team has been vaccinated, so they're back at it. And hopefully that pays dividends in the fall. We'll start talking about protecting against injuries and then having that endurance to continue to play the style that Southern plays into the fourth quarter consistently over 11 games of football.
Now, before I let you go, one quick question. Do you see Akil Glass? Oh, hold on. Okay. Oh, yeah, I like this question. It says, off script, ask BJ about SWAC officiating and is it being addressed? So
this is one of the things I talk about with SWAC officiating. SWAC officiating ain't as bad as you think it is. All right, it ain't as bad as you think it is. When people talk about SWAC refs, I say, okay, so how many other conferences you watch which you can compare it to? I remember watching the game. This was UT Chattanooga was going against I want to say it was Middle Tennessee State. There was a kickoff. Chattanooga ran it back, took the lead. They called it back because they said the kid called a fair catch. They rewinded, looked at it. There was no fair catch anyway. The only thing there was the other kid who was back returning. He pointed at where the ball went, where the kid returned the kick. And they lost that game because of that call. I watched a field goal go straight through the uprights this spring in the Missouri Valley conference game, and both officials look at each other and say no good, and it literally went straight through the uprights. Officiating is bad for a multitude of different reasons. Number one, officials are getting older, not younger. Number two, because of the hell that officials go through, you don't have a lot of young people wanting to get into that business. And then number three, officials are poorly compensated. So you got those three things. You're going to get whatever comes out there. Officiating is bad at the NFL level, and if it's bad at the NFL level where they're getting paid handsomely, imagine how bad it's going to be at the collegiate and high school level.
That's a good point. I got a comment from Blue Bloods, another YouTube channel. He says refs are bad everywhere. That includes the SEC, who stole multiple games from Ole Miss and Arkansas this year on bad calls. So
I've seen some horrible calls.
Yeah. Ugh. So last question, real talk, last question. What do you see Akil Glass being drafted?
He should be drafted. And this is one of the things about Akil Glass. One of the things that helps him is he's 6'5".
And he
and he makes all the throws. He makes all the throws. I think that he's going to have an opportunity. And this is the killer part about it. The two best quarterbacks in the state of Alabama may not be at Alabama and Auburn. It may be Akil Glass and a young man at Samford who's lighting it up. He hit somebody for 531. Broke the Samford school record. He won the small school player of the year in the state of Alabama. He can go. So I think that those two young men, you're going to hear a lot about them. Akil Glass is on that Senior Bowl watch list. Hopefully he gets a Senior Bowl invite, but I see him as a Sunday player. He makes all the throws. He scans the entire field, you see him make some NFL throws, and he makes some calls too, which is very, very important. Because there's a lot of receivers that look good because receivers are just running butt open. No, he throws guys open, and that's a big difference between him and a lot of other guys that you will see.
You know, when I watch Akil, the two things that stand out to me is his touch and his anticipation. Like placement of his ball, his passes are like there's it's either you gonna catch it or nobody else gonna get it. That's one. And his anticipation. And when I had him on the channel, he said, you know, the one thing about me, I don't have the arm strength that a lot of top quarterbacks have. He said, but my anticipation just allows me to do more because I know how to put it and where to put it and things like that. So, you know, I just think that's great. But Mr. BJ Jones, I appreciate your time. We got to do this again before the season starts. When it gets closer, the countdown is here. I should have like a little countdown on my channel.
We're getting close, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's it, man. Listen, I can't, man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be at the. Are you going to the FAMU game?
The FAMU Jackson State game?
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't gonna be at though.
Oh no, man. Listen, I'm there. I'm in there.
I want to go, man. But look, man, I got wedding stuff coming up
and stuff,
and all that stuff, man. Nah, I'll be in Troy that weekend, seeing what them Jags talking about.
Man, that ain't even a game. We ain't even trying.
Hey, I'm telling you, don't sleep on it.
I'm just
don't sleep on it. But
we try to be at the most exciting first. Listen, that's the Super Bowl off the rip.
That game is going to be off the chains, man. It's going to be off the chains. That whole weekend, man. If you don't know the history of HBCU football, look at what the Orange Blossom Classic was, and what it's going to be this year is going to be just like it was. I'm talking about, man, they bringing that thing back with a bang.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I won't be at that one, but man, like I said, I'm looking forward to the season, man, as a whole. I'm gonna try to check out when Bama State goes to Jackson State. I'm gonna try to go check that one out. But yeah, man, I got a couple of games, man, on the list that I plan on hitting up, you know, during the year. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
You know what? And I got a question coming. It says, "All script. Before you go, I want to know what JSU games do you want to go to or will be going to?" Okay, so I'm gonna tell you my list. I'm going to the Orange Blossom Classic. I'm already making plans as we speak to go to the Southland Heritage Classic because I live in Columbia, South Carolina, so I'm definitely going there. I'm going to the Southern JSU game. I'm going to that. Now, mind you, I have a 9-to-5, so I can't, I can't be, I still got a regular government job I got to attend to. So I'm going to try to make as many as I can, but I do want to go to the Magic City Classic, and I do want to go to the Bayou Classic. I'm already set for that because Smash said he's going to take care of me. So he's going to get me into that mug. He said, you got to see it in live. So those are the games that I know it sounds like I'm a little JSU biased. I mean, kind of Deion's my plug, so it's like, it's pretty easy to get into a JSU game. But any games you were most excited to see?
Oh man, FAMU, Jackson State right out of the gate. Tennessee State and Grambling. I think people are sleeping on that ball game. I'm interested in seeing both of them. Southern Heritage Classic. Hey, just because this is Southern Heritage Classic, man, every year, and I think the storylines going into that game are going to be nothing short of amazing. FAMU, really against the SWAC as a whole, both of them in Bethune-Cookman, a game that people are sleeping on, that I think people really want to pay attention to. Pay attention to when Alabama A&M has a stretch that I think starts with, if I'm not mistaken, they got a stretch where they got Jackson State, FAMU, Alabama State.
That's in October.
And yeah, they got that stretch right there.
Yeah.
That's going to be everyone has like a 3 to 4 game stretch when you look at it and you go, ooh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody has that stretch. So there's a lot of games I'm looking forward to watching.
I know it. Man, listen, I wish I could just go see. I wish I didn't have no job. So I could just like go see all the games at Real Talk, but I got a job. So it's
yeah.
Not. And listen, to make my bandwagon even more official, this is how I do it, Mr. BJ. Oh, you see it. You see it. It's Jay. Listen,
man.
When we come out and we get these dubs, it's JSU all the way, baby. I'm gonna put the SWAC side down because on the other side is all the SWAC teams, but this side is just.
And them South Carolina State folks gonna run you up out of there, boy. It's gonna be mad Bulldogs. I'm talking about they're gonna be passing the peas all at your house, boy.
Man, listen. That's why I keep my address undisclosed. I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody showing up at my place. But yeah, So.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you having me, man. Appreciate it, man.
Hold on. Somebody asked you what show? Do you have a show when you come on and all that type of stuff?
Oh man, it's coming in the fall, man. Keep it posted, man. But pay attention, man. You can still catch me doing work with HBCU Game Day, also with Dr. Cavill in the sports lab. We're gonna be doing that on Sundays in the fall. So make sure you're paying attention to that. I'm having a nice little platform that you guys gonna enjoy as well in the fall. So man, keep your eyes peeled. Man, with me coaching, I'm not able to do as much. Because man, whatever I do, I'm gonna do it 100%. And if I can't give you 100% of me, I ain't gonna do no show. I respect the people who watch and take their time out a little bit too much, just come out and just half-ass it. And I ain't gonna half-ass with the kids either, man. We gotta go. We gotta it's state championship for bus around here.
Hey, let's get it.
So, but yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. I like everything that you're doing, and man, I guess I'm kind of the gap because they calling you new school, and I consider myself still new school. I think, me and you around about the same age, so you ain't got to call me Mr. BJ.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that just bridging that gap between the guys that have been doing this for a long time, the Dr. Cavills, the Richard Floods, the Carlos Browns of the world, man, the Dr. Mike Princes of the world, and so forth, and then new guys. Like you and myself, man. And one of the things that I've been able to do, been fortunate about, whether it's been Stephen Gaither or Tyler Carr, is that really having like the older guys in the business to really reach a helping hand to me. Because I came to this thing fresh off the field and fresh off coaching. I played in the conference, man. My background is of a player and a coach. I did nothing media related. As a matter of fact, hated to talk to the media as a player. So for me to be in this thing now, man, it's crazy. But I had a lot of people that helped me along the way, man. Keisha Kelly and so many people. And I'm pretty sure you run into it now, man. So many people reaching out and helping, man. But I'm just glad that you're here. And you're another voice, a young voice when it comes down to HBCU sports, man. So thank you for having me, man. It was an honor and a privilege.
Oh no, thank you for your time, and I felt the honor more or less to have you because I know you have been a staple, and I've seen your stuff, and I've watched you, your Facebook lives and all that type of stuff. So I truly appreciate it, and I feel like that's me learning how the SWAC gets down, and learning from you and learning from Smash and people who have been indulged in that culture for so long. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you coming out, and this was a funny show, boy. You are
man,
full blown.
Shout out to them Simba players, boy. I'm telling you, I be watching y'all, boy. The boys come through there. Oh man, I'm talking about that. Hey, they find me. Hey, I've always been like that, man. I used to be in warm-ups, man. When we used to be in warm-ups on the field, man, you hear that drum cadence and them cymbals come through there, boy. Oh man, I used to look at the girls too.
Listen,
hey, them cymbals though, man.
All I wanted, because I've never listen. When I tell you I've never been to an HBCU game, I've never been to an HBCU game. So this will be my first time, and I'm so excited to have the whole band experience with the football and all that type of stuff. So I am super geeked, and I think the Orange Blossom Classic might be just a little bit different than a regular, because I think it's going to be just a spectacle. But, when I go to that Southern Heritage Classic, I think that's going to be the real essence of. Yeah,
Jackson State, man, War and Thunder, they got them Z's too, man. I love Jackson State's drum line, man. I remember as a kid, when I first saw Jackson State drum line, I was like, man, them boys, they're nice, man. Southern, the Funk Factory, and man, all the drum lines of the conference, man. Chocolate Thunder, Grambling, TTB, Bama State, Sticks from Alabama A&M, man. The drum lines, man, I've always been a fan, especially by them cymbal players, boy. Hey, man, y'all send me some cymbal footage or something, man. They fire me up, man.
All right, Mr. B, appreciate you for coming through, and we gotta make this happen again. And I wish you all success with your team, and doing everything in life. And be blessed, my guy.
Man, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you. Oh my God, that was Mr. BJ Jones stopping by, man. That was funny. That guy's a clown, straight clown. Appreciate you guys for tuning in with me and everything like that. Listen, I take my girl everywhere. Okay, I am a reformed hoe, so I take my girl everywhere. Do you understand me? That's my girl below, and she knows. She went to the Jackson State camp with me. She went to the Deion Sanders interview with me. She goes everywhere with me, because if not, I would be and killed. All right. So me not having my girl is
What kind of shit is that?
okay. It's not a game out here, my guy. So yeah, she's gonna be with me. So listen, hey, anybody, I will try to go to a South Carolina State game. Appreciate you guys. Awesome episode. Hey, thank you, my guy. Thank you. Appreciate you. Listen, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, listen, if you want me to come to a game, right? If you want me to come to a game, if you want me to come to a game, let me know. All right. Understand, if you invite me, you're inviting my girl. Unless she has something, she works remote, so she don't have no problem. She'll have no problem coming. She'll bring her laptop and she'll be there too. All right. So if you invite me to a game, just know my girl is coming. All right. I don't have no problems. You can always email me at offscriptofficial@gmail.com. That's offscriptofficial@gmail.com. You can DM me in my Instagram, which is offscript_TV. Or you can DM me in offscript_vids on Twitter. All right. You can hit me up. Listen, my girl is she put them J5s. Listen, all right, put them to sleep. Do you hear me? You in North Carolina, you need to go to North Carolina AT. I'm in South Carolina. All right, I'm in South Carolina. So, but yeah, I'm trying to make it to as many games as I can. If you invite me out, just understand my girl is coming too. All right, so prepare for 2. Do you hear me? All right, like I said, appreciate the guys for tuning in. Hey, appreciate you guys for rocking with me this long. It was a great show, great episode. All right, until next time, it's your boy Scotty, voice of the SWAC. All right, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna holler. God bless.